right. Well, y'all have a seat. And, hey, big crowd here tonight. I figured we'd have a packed house anyway, so. I think they thought we weren't going to have church tonight, huh? What do you think, Brother Alex? Well, we're going to have church every time we can. If y'all will take, and I'm going to be honest, quite honest with you, the Lord has had to put this together this morning. I didn't know where we was going. I got thinking, I don't have a Bible study. I don't have any. We're through the 10 Commandments. What am I going to do now, Lord? He said, won't you open that Bible? You might find something in there. And I opened the Bible up, and I found something. And he gave me one verse. We're going to do about 3 or 4 verses in 1 Corinthians, chapter number 8. And he sent me to verse number 9. We're going to elaborate on it a little bit. The outline's pretty weak, Brother Thomas. Don't be grading me on this, okay? And we're going to start in verse number 1. But again, here we're talking. He's talking to this carnal church. The church of Corinth was in bad shape. They're in some pretty bad shape. They sent him a letter, and Paul's answering the questions here. And the very chapter we're in, this pertains to the meat of the idols, okay? And we're going to get some interesting thoughts out of this. We're not going to really talk about that much about the meat. As we get in verse 9, we're going to talk about some things that relate to today. We're going to talk about social media. Hello. We're going to talk about social media. You know what? It's a stumbling block. You better be careful. Better be careful where you are on it and where you are in it and what you're doing in it, okay? We don't have a dress code here at church. I've had people call me all the time. I had a lady call me one time, and she said, Brother Steve, I really would love to come to your church, but I just can't, y'all have a dress code. I said, no, man, we don't have no dress code. So, oh, yeah, I've heard from your people, y'all got a dress code. I said, my people told you a lie. Hello? We ain't got no dress code out there. You think about it, that's a stumbling block. We had a couple coming here one Sunday on vacation. Brother Adrian came here, and they were in their Bermuda shorts. I shook their hand and told them, I said, hey, glad to see y'all. Come on in. Welcome. Come on in. They stepped in that door and turned around and walked out. I guess they thought we had a dress code. They didn't look like they belonged, maybe. Anybody belongs in here, y'all. We want them in here. Hey, Miss Diane Pettigrew sat right back down. I never will forget the first time she ever visited here on a Wednesday night. And we got through preaching, she raised her hand. I thought, oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Oh, me, a visiting woman, going to ask a question. And she stood up and she said, if you knew there was a lesbian come in here, what would you do about that? I said, we'd welcome them. We'd welcome her. We'd preach to her. We want them. We want them in here. We do. We want the homosexuals. We want the lesbians. We want the drunkard. We want the prostitute. We want the gossipers. Oh boy, we want the gossipers in here. We want them all in here, because this is where they're going to get the truth. He said, I am the truth. And we preach the truth out of this book right here. This book is true. And you need to be in it, okay? So if you're in 1 Corinthians with me, in chapter number 8, look what it says. Let me put these on, because I don't have these, like I told Alex a while ago, I don't have these on. I didn't put this in my laptop. So now, as touching things offered unto idols, we know that we all have knowledge. Knowledge puffeth, you're to underline this. Knowledge puffeth up, but charity, underline that, edifieth. And if any man think that he knoweth anything, he knoweth nothing yet as he ought to know. But if any man love God, the same is known of him. Let's just stop right there. Here was an issue here. There was an issue here in the church of Corinth. And Paul is addressing this with the letter they sent him. He's answering this. He said they were saying things offered unto idols. The entire chapter, again, is focused on that very issue of eating meat which had been offered to idols. Let's look at the components of this thing, okay? Verse number 1 through 3 we just read. This section is about eating meat offered to idols. Paul notes two very important components here dealing with this very issue. Look at the place of charity or love in the issue. See, this is what we lack a lot as Christians, is love, is Christ-like love. We look at people and we start sizing them up. We start making judgment about them. Like I said, they walk in Bermuda shorts into our service, and we get to going, oh. And, you know, like they got the plague or something, or the COVID. They got COVID, and we got to stay away from them. Okay, we need to love on them. I've been there. The issue of eating meat offered by idols required a great deal of charity or love. It says so right here. It says so. And it does. You need love to know how to deal with that properly. Any issue like that, you got to have love to deal with it. You got to have love. So look at the work of charity. It says charity edifies. It edifies. A lot of talk does not edify because of this very reason. It lacks love. There's not love in a lot of that. We're a lot of times we're stirring up stuff. Okay, we're stirring up stuff. The issue of eating meat offered to idols required a good deal of love to know how to deal with it properly. Especially love. Now look here. Especially, we're going to read in just a minute, especially love for the believers who were not yet well grounded in the things of the Lord. Everybody grows at their own levels. I've been saved 50 years come February the 17th of next year. 50 years. But I certainly don't know it all. And I'm still learning. Every time I open this book, I learn something. I find another nugget. I find something brand new. I thought I read it 100 times, and it just jumps off. Brother Silas, just jumps off the page at me. Just like the Lord sent me today, and I got to read about this stumbling block. I got thinking, many of us we call some stumbling blocks for folk, and it's that weaker, less matured believer. This is about the brethren, and it's not about salvation here, y'all. These folk are saved. It's just that they're not at the level of others. And you may take a Christian who's been, saved 5 years. They're not the level of a Christian who's been saved 30 years, and so on and so forth. But I have seen some Christians who've been saved 60 years weren't even at the level of a 5 year. Hello? Because they haven't been in this. They haven't been in this. You got to get in this. Of all things you get into, I don't care what you get, and that's why I'm going to be on social media in just a minute. Don't get into that. Don't get into that. Get into this. Get in this. Be a lot better for you to be in this than to be in some of that social media stuff. I don't go there. Anything I know about social media, I get from my wife. She's on it constantly. I mean, Miss Kitty, we could be, we're having a conversation, she and I, we're eating our dinner, and all of a sudden that phone goes off, somebody just texts her. I said, can you not wait 5 minutes to text them people back? Act like you didn't get it. Just wait a few minutes. I text them a minute. I don't text nobody immediately. How many of y'all text somebody immediately? I don't text nobody immediately. I'll hear it go off. I may be shaving. Okay. I got to stop shaving. Go answer text. No, they'll wait. They'll wait. Be careful, y'all. Look at the witness in this charity. If any man love God, the same is known of him. God knows you. God knows you. And God knows, hey, if you got charity or not. God knows what you've got. If you really have charity, God will testify, y'all, to that fact. Because he knows all. He knows everything. And he knows you, and he knows whether you got, he knows whether you got it or whether you lack it, okay? Okay? And he knows. So it'll show. So let's move on to, this is an interesting one. Look at verse 2, verse 1 and 2. It's still in 1, goes on into 2. But look at 1. So now, as touching things offered unto idols, you know that we all have knowledge. Knowledge puffeth up, but charity edifieth. And if any man think that he knoweth anything, he knoweth nothing yet as he ought to know. Many of the time, we think we know a lot, which we don't. I heard it said one time, and I've never forgotten it. Telling someone something you know nothing about is like coming back from somewhere you've never been. And so that sticks in my mind because I don't know everything. My wife thinks I do. I'm glad she does. I tell her I do. Yeah, she thinks so. Yeah. But anyway, hey, I don't know everything, but neither do you. The only one knows everything, God. And again, you'll get a lot from this right here if you'll just get in it. You'll get a lot of that knowledge. But knowledge can be a problem. It can be a problem. Knowledge can flatter the possessor. It says here, knowledge puffeth up. Too often, knowledge leads to pride. To pride. Many do not understand the true perils of knowledge. Are you with me? Don't get smarter than God. Don't try to get smarter than God. Don't dive real deep and come up dry, okay? Just stay in the book. Let God lead. Let God direct. Let God handle. Let God hey. One needs more than knowledge to deal, again, with with many problems in our life. We need more than just knowledge, okay? We need love, for one. Love is vitally important to us. We need to love people. People are hurting, y'all. People are hurting. And this time of the year, have you ever noticed this time of the year, have you watched the obituaries lately? Watch the obituaries around Christmas time. It seems like more people die around Christmas than any other really time more so of the year. Now, I know when COVID came through, it was like a rash of that. But I was near death. I was at death's door in 2014 for 3 weeks of December. I was hurting all the time. I couldn't even sleep. I had to sit in a chair, in a recliner every night, just to get some rest. But when I was preaching, I never had a pain. When I was preaching a funeral, I never had a pain. When I was in the Christmas play, I never had a pain. When I was doing anything for God, I never had a pain. I never had a problem. But as soon as I went home and sat down, I was hurting all over. All through my arm, my chest, everything was hurting. And I was with Miss Kitty. I thought, you know what pleurisy is. I thought I had pleurisy because it was hurting in my arm. And I thought, oh, I got pleurisy. So finally that evening of New Year's night, 2014, I went to the hospital and they said, no, you ain't got pleurisy. I said, good. It's worse than that. I said, oh, ain't good. Again, I was on death's door. And had I come in that evening, it was a Wednesday evening. Had I come in that evening, Brother Randy, to preach, I would have died right here in this pulpit. I would have fell dead right here in this pulpit, which ain't no bad way to go. I mean, I'd rather die right in the pulpit than anywhere I can think of. I'd rather die in church than anywhere I can think of. I certainly don't want to die, hey, out of the will of God anywhere. Hello? I want to be in his will. I want to be in my place when I go, doing all I can do for him. See, knowledge can be a problem for people. Knowledge deceives the possessor of it, especially that proud possessor. It makes them think that they know more than they really do know. A little knowledge causes many to think they know a lot more than they do know. Pride helps deceive people. Let's move on to where the Lord sent me this morning. Let's go down to verse 9. I want to read it to you. Look at it because it really is an interesting verse. I've read it 100 times, but I never really gave it a lot of thought to this morning, more so. It says, but take heed lest by any means this liberty of yours becomes a stumbling block to them that are weak. Wow. Take heed lest by any means this liberty of yours, you've got liberty, becomes a stumbling block to the weak. Improper reaction to this issue that they're dealing with here about the meat, okay, can make one a stumbling block, can be a stumbling block to that immature Christian. Again, let's go here. So we'll bring it up to today's thinking. We don't deal much with sacrifice to idols, meat, et cetera, et cetera. And I eat anything I want to eat. Most of y'all do too, I can tell. But again, here it was an issue. But Paul's telling them it don't have to be an issue. It doesn't really have to be an issue. The exhortation is that you do not have to know this meat. You may know you know it's harmless. And you go in, you're going to see where they go into the temple of idol and they partake of it there on down in the verses here. But this immature, person, this less mature, this new weak Christian doesn't understand it. Okay. We do a lot of things at times that are stumbling blocks to people. I used a dress a while ago because, again, we've had people come in here in pants and everything, ladies dressed inappropriate somewhat. We don't call them down. We don't go make them leave. We want them to stay. We want them in here, okay? We want them in here. We don't have a problem with that because they don't know any better. You can't tell the world the things that we know and them just hug your neck. So, oh man, I didn't really thank you so much. They go like, you're stupid. What are you talking about? I mean, let's just use one recently. Let's use Santa Claus. Santa Claus is a counterfeit. He's a counterfeit, y'all. But if you preach to a congregation of people, more so than this group we got tonight, there's going to be people going to get mad. They're going to get upset over that. I read a story just recently about a couple that called grandmama. Brother Randy, they called grandmama. So grandmama, we're not having the kids, we're not giving out Santa stuff this year. She says, what? No, we don't want to tell them a lie. We don't tell them a lie about that. We don't bring them up thinking Santa Claus is above God. And we want them to understand the truth. We want to know the truth about that. We're not going to do that thing. We're not going to do the Santa thing no more. Here's what she said. You call me a liar? It's grandmama. Grandma, you call me a liar? Yeah. What y'all doing to them little darlings? What y'all doing to them? Well, we just want to know the truth. We want to know the truth. See, there's a lot of kids who write letters. I don't know if they write them or mama and their daddy write them for them to Santa Claus. And they put things in there like this. Dear Santa, would you please heal my mama who's got cancer? Santa Claus can't heal nobody. God can. But see, they replaced God with Santa Claus. Hey, I came up that way. Many of y'all came up that way. My mama would hide stuff all the time from us. And we'd find it. Like, for example, we lived over on Vine Street. There was a little room back there that had a lot. We picked a lot, went in there and got our bicycles out and rode them for Christmas Day. Rode them all over town. Put it back in there. When we got it, a bike. We knew there wasn't no Santa Claus. We knew it was Mom and Daddy. But they asked for things like that. Peace, dear Santa, can you give us peace on earth? No, he can't. He's a counterfeit. But see, you get to bringing that out, the truth, and saying he's trying to replace God. He's trying to take God's position. Boy, you get a lot of flack from a lot of people. It can become a stumbling block if you're not careful. My saying is this: you don't have to apologize for your silence. You don't have to apologize for your silence. And it's the time we might have to just keep our mouth shut, okay? Now, again, if I'm dealing with my children, I have the responsibility and I have the authority to do whatever I want to there, okay? So if I say, hey, we ain't got no Santa Claus, we ain't got no Santa Claus, okay? But here again, what it's saying here is be careful that you're not a stumbling block. Because everybody doesn't grow to the same extent. I mean, you don't get saved one year and next year you're at the peak. It's taken me literally and still taking me years and years and years of reading my Bible and studying my Bible and hearing preaching and being in Sunday school and having Bible studies. And back when I was with the Southern Baptists, we had that evening thing. I can't remember what it's called now. Good. But anyway, we had it. It was kind of a Bible study at 4 o'clock before we went to evening service. And hey, we did that. But I grew in all that because I was in the Word of God. And back in the 70s, everybody, I didn't know there was such a thing as an NIV Bible. The first thing I ever ran into was a Living Bible, which was a living mess. It was a living mess. I mean, it wasn't even good to put in the fireplace. It didn't make good kindling. It was a mess. But I didn't know anything about any other Bible than King James Bible. I still don't. And I don't want to. I have one. I have an NIV, and I have it for a purpose. I like to go and read brother, so I'd like to go and read out of the KJV and then read out of the NIV. And many times when I read it, it's not in there at all. It's not even in here. But if it is in here, it's been changed so many times. So again, I'm a King James only, and I'll stay a King James only. And I'm Baptist born and Baptist bred, and when I die, I'll be Baptist dead. I mean, that's me. I'm just Baptist to the bone. It wasn't John the Episcopalian. It wasn't John the Methodist. It was John the Baptist. Praise God for John the Baptist, okay? So again, I caution you. I dearly caution you. If you're a fan of Facebook, more power to you. I just cannot go there. I'm not going to go there. If I want to spend an hour in that, I'll spend an hour in this. If I want to spend an hour in social media, I'll spend an hour in this. I don't want to get into nothing that's going to cause any kind of conflict. See what happens to you if you ever, I've been around this too long, y'all. I know from experience. I'm not my 78 years, but my 50 years of being a Christian and being in church for 50 years. And I've been in church pretty solid. I can't say what Brother Roy Anderson said, that he had missed 6 Sundays in 63 years of being in church. I can't say that, but I have been in church a lot. And I've been under some great preaching, and I've been under some great teachers, and I've been under some great Bible. So I've been to KJ, everywhere I've been, it's been KJ only. KJ only. And I can talk with authority. If you ever do any little thing to be a stumbling block to somebody, you lose them. You lose them. I was in sales for 35 years. I know how to lose them. I've lost many. But not that. I've been in church and you lose them. And Brother Tommy, like I say, if you stood up here and said certain things, you lose them. I don't want to lose them. I want them in here. Bring them in. Hey, the homeless came to the tent meeting last year. Hey, praise God. The homeless came through there. And several were at that altar. And several probably even got saved. I don't know. You cannot get them saved if they won't listen to you, if you have no credibility with them. If you've done anything over social media to and let me tell you, you can write all you want to and do all you want to on it. You can post everything you want to. But if the first line or two turns them off, they turn you off. I've stood here before and started preaching. I told you the story. When we're on Rushwood Drive. There was a woman sitting right over there by a window. We had windows out there. She sat right over there by the window. The singing, she was into all the singing. As soon as I stood up and said, open your Bible to so-and-so, she turned her head toward that window and never looked back at me. Why she came, I don't know. I guess to irritate me. And she done a good job. Because many of the time, the devil would roll all over that. And I'd be all tore up. But see, somewhere I lost her. Somewhere she didn't like what I was saying. And you'll see them. You preachers know. You preachers, like Tommy, right, John? Say Tommy. Like Tommy, right, John? I know he's listening. I ain't worried about him. He's been listening to me for a long time. Hey, don't lose them. Don't be a stumbling block. Don't be a stumbling block. Because you lose them, you may, and you read on down here, again, this could lead to almost anywhere. This could lead to almost them leaving church and leaving the work of the Lord and whatever. It could go anywhere it wants to. The stumbling block thing could. This is a serious thing. And I think when we read that, I think we just write, and I have, many times I've read this, and I just read over it. I just read it and read over it. Then I come back and I think, my liberty is, I got liberty here, and yet I'm a stumbling block. That ain't good. I'm messed up. I'm messed up here. So I guess my whole message tonight is let's just don't be a stumbling block, okay? The new year's coming. There's some great opportunity for us in 2024. There's some great opportunity at Fairhaven Independent Baptist Church in 2024. I just feel God's going to do something special here. We've been so blessed. We've been blessed financially. We've been blessed with good people. We've been blessed with good teachers. We've got preacher boys all over the church. We're going to utilize them a whole lot more in the new year. I've already talked to, I know Alex and I guess Silas as well, but Patrick, you too. When we start January, we're going to have our fellowship Sunday. That means we come in here at 9:30 for Sunday school, 10:30 for worship service. Go over to the fellowship hall, bring you a brown bag, go out and get you something if you want to and bring it back in, whatever. But at 1 o'clock, we're firing up right back in here at 1 o'clock for our afternoon service. Go to about 2 or so. Then we'll have a 5 o'clock service. So we got some parents here, we got small children, and those children need to take their nap. So they're going to come back probably at 5 as normal. We're not going to wear our musicians out. We're not going to wear our song directors out. We're not going to wear them people out. Matter of fact, the 1 o'clock service may not even have any music. I don't know. I may hum something, but anyway, we know it doesn't matter. See, it's all about this anyway. If we didn't even have music, we'd be in this. Okay, we'd be in this. We'll be preaching. We're going to be in the Bible. So again, these young preachers are going to be used. And I'm thrilled that we got 3 or 4 hanging around. So again, y'all be ready for that. That's an exciting time. When we did it the last time, people kind of got up in arms. Well, that's just too much. Hey, you get in here every day. Every day. Yeah, I don't have a problem every day. I went down to Dr. Sammy Allen's camp one week, 1 year for a week. I heard 30-something preachers in that week. We got up at 7 o'clock. We ate breakfast at 7 o'clock, got up for that. We went to preaching. They broke for lunch. We ate lunch, we went to preaching. Hey, broke for supper. We came back, went to preaching. We got out of there at 10 o'clock at night. We went from 8 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock at night every day with nothing but preaching. Preaching, preaching, preaching. You think I didn't like it? I ate it up. Now, the only problem I had was he took up a lot of offerings. So I carried a lot of dollar bills. So Brother Tony told me to. He said, take a pocket full of $1 bills. I watched him raise, hey, Brother Roy, I watched him raise $33,000 just like that. Just like that. Unreal. I never seen anybody raise money like he could in my life. I mean, he literally had them guys run to their car and getting out of the ashtray, getting change out of the ashtray and everywhere they could. I mean, they're throwing money in from everywhere. Take money. Got to run this. Yeah. Let's get down. Reach down in there. If it passed around, it wasn't there. He said, take it around again. Run around again. See, God's all over that stuff because it's preaching going on. We're going to have preaching here. And I'm good anytime we don't have it. Let's just open it up and have it, okay? So, again, that's my message for tonight. I don't know where it came. I know where it came from. I don't know what I done with it. But anyway, what time is it? Oh, we got plenty of time. Let's have prayer time. I read about Daniel Nash. He was Charles Finney's